What's going on, everyone? So it's Saturday, and we actually managed to upload a video every single day this week, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up just to show your support for the channel. But anyways, as you probably tell by the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about some of the combos that with cards that we can use using the Trial Decks and Rally to War. So these are some of these you may have heard of already, some of these you may not have. I figured I'd bring these to you anyway, just so that everyone is aware of them. And yeah, I figured this would be a great way to wrap up the week. So if I missed any, be sure to leave comments down below talking about combos that you may have found that no one else has. That way everyone can try it out and have some fun with it. But anyways, I have picked out 5 combos that either I have found or I've seen other people post. Unfortunately, the ones that I have seen posted, I've seen in a variety of spots, so I can't really give credit to any one particular person. But yeah, let's jump right into this. So first up is a combo that involves not Carefree Orc, Goblin Madcap. So this is one that we had talked about way back when another card was first revealed, Grave Champion. So you can probably already tell where this is going, but if your opponent has a low number of Drago Shields, such as 1, 2, or 3, and you have a Goblin Madcap on the field, you can summon your Grave Champion and pop your own Goblin Madcap, forcing Goblin Madcap to do 3 damage to one of the opponent's Drago Shields, essentially destroying it and letting your Grave Champion get a free attack off. So not only that, but your opponent also loses a creature, which does give you some nice advantage. So yeah, that's a really basic combo, but with red and black having such amazing synergy, I feel like that one is just important enough to bring to you guys again, just so you guys know of its existence. But anyways, next up we're moving on to one of the biggest combos and also one of the most feared combination of cards, and it involves Carefree Orc. Now, there are quite a few things that you can do with Carefree Orc. Starting off with one of the basic ones, if you have Carefree Orc and Expedition Merfolk out on your field, you can essentially get a free attack off. I mean, you would need something else if your opponent has a stronger Drago Shield, but this is just assuming that they don't. So basically, all you have to do is attack with your Carefree Orc and pop your own Expedition Merfolk, and Expedition Merfolk's effect triggers, which lets you rest one of your opponent's creatures. So, really basic combo right there, but if you're running red and blue, it might be worth looking into. Expedition Merfolk is a really nice defensive card, however, it doesn't really reward offensive plays. So now, working our way up the scale, next 2-card combo with Carefree Orc is Carefree Orc and Sarg. Sarg, as many of you know, has an effect that when it's destroyed, it does 1 damage to each of your opponent's creatures and Drago Shields. So, first off, you should attack with Sarg to get that extra 2 damage off, and then attack with Carefree Orc to pop Sarg and deal 1 damage to everything your opponent has. So, if it's early in the game and they only have 1 endurance creatures, it's going to end up blowing up their entire field, or if they're unfortunate enough to have some 1 Drago Shields, they're going to be destroyed as well, letting any other creatures you have on the field be able to attack them. So now talking about one of the biggest combos in the game, it involves Albert, Carefree Orc, and Sarg. So many of you already are aware of this combo, but just again, I figured I'd bring this to you just because it's so common. But first, you attack with Albert, who gives all of your opponents Deadly. So that means that any of your creatures that deals damage to your opponent's creatures does enough damage to kill it. So next up, you're going to attack with your Carefree Orc. So already right there, you could do 1 damage to anything your opponent controls and kill it right away. But in this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to target Sarg. And destroying Sarg, his effect activates, dealing 1 damage to all of your opponent's creatures, meaning that since he has Deadly, thanks to Albert, that all of your opponent's creatures are going to die. So it's essentially a 3-card board wipe, which is really powerful. I mean, you could be doing this turn 2 if you're going second, because you could drop these two on your first turn, and then Albert on your next turn, and the combo is already set up for you. So this is something else you could play with a deck using the Goblin Madcap Grave Champion combo. So already, red and black is just so powerful. So switching gears a little bit and heading into another color, we've got a combo that's more defensive, and it involves Teriel. So many of you already know what Teriel does, but when she's destroyed, that fort cannot be attacked anymore this turn. So one of the best ways to play around this card is to attack with lower attack creatures, such as Sarg or Carefree Orc, where they're not going to be able to kill it. So what you want to do is set Hidden Art's Reverse Thunderstrike as an ambush at the fort. So then when your opponent attacks, you can block with Teriel and then take the damage. So that'll put her at 2 damage, and she just needs to take 1 more damage, and then she's destroyed. So when your opponent attacks with the next creature, you flip the Reverse Thunderstrike, stand Teriel, and block that attack, giving her that extra point of damage in order to kill her, and protecting your fort for another turn. So I think that's something important to know if you're playing yellow-blue, because once again, Teriel is very easy to play around, and your opponents also want to play around it. So another good instance for this is if your opponent is playing blue and they use EMP or they use Balthios if they're playing black in order to rest it. Hidden Art's Reverse Thunderstrike essentially nullifies that and lets you stand it again. And obviously in that instance, you're going to want to wait until they attack with something that has enough attack to kill Teriel, such as Balthios. But anyways, moving on to the next combo. This one is more deck specific. You have to really build your deck around this particular card, which is Power of a Conqueror. And if you don't know what this card does, if your opponent attacks and is blocked by a creature that has less endurance than your attacking creature's attack, you do 1 damage to a barrier, or the fort. So it's essentially piercing from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, the card that this works best with is Springleaf Angel. And this works so well because it forces your opponent to block. Springleaf Angel effect is if it's green Drago crossed and it attacks a fort, you can choose a rested creature, stand it, and force it to block her attack. But right now she's only a 3/3. However, with each of your green resources, she gets +1/+1. So typically by the time you'd be summoning her, she'll already be about a 7/7, 8/8. So really up there and is going to have enough attack to be able to inflict that piercing damage. Another card that works really well with this is Terrax. Terrax's effect to double break a fort still works with Power of a Conqueror because it changes 1 damage to 2 damage. So essentially Terrax's effect overrules Power of a Conqueror's deal 1 damage effect, and that allows you to double break the fort. So your opponent is always going to want to block Terrax's attack just because they don't want to lose 2 forts or 2 barriers. So you use Power of a Conqueror, and then they're either going to have to block the attack and lose a creature and 2 barriers, or they're going to have to let the attack go through and lose 2 barriers anyways. So it really puts your opponent in a bad position. And then the other card that I found that works well with Power of a Conqueror is Sunscale Dragon. And that's because Sunscale Dragon has an effect similar to Springleaf Angels, where if it's yellow Drago crossed, it must be blocked by the creature with the highest attack. Now, this does have a downside because if it is something like Terrax or any other powerful creature like Albert, it might not have enough attack, or Sunscale Dragon might not have enough attack to do more damage than the creature's endurance. So, Sunscale Dragon is kind of the last resort for this, but it is something that forces your opponent to block. which essentially lets you utilize Power of a Conqueror to the full extent. Then the final combo that I want to talk about does require a lot of setup, but it is very rewarding. So first, you must have Teriel in your resource zone, and you also have to have a yellow 5 or 6. And then you can play Growth. So this allows you to put the top card of your deck into your resource zone, and then you get to reference your yellow dice. If it's a 5 or 6, you can choose a card in your resource zone and place it on top of your deck. So we're going to want to put Teriel there. And then, if you don't already have Remus out on the field, you're going to want to summon him and drag across him yellow. Then, when he attacks an opponent's fort and breaks a barrier, you get to take the top card of your deck and place it at one of your forts. So, since we got to choose Teriel to put on top, once this barrier gets broken, your opponent won't be able to do any more damage to that fort for the remainder of the turn. So it essentially extends your game by another turn, giving you another chance to win, or essentially do it all over again if you have another Growing Touch and Teriel in your resource. So yeah, those are just some of the combos that I've been seeing floating around or experienced in playing. Be sure to comment down below if I missed any, or which combo you've managed to pull off so far. But anyways, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out Drag Oracle and the Facebook page, as well as my Twitter. Links to all of them are down below. And yeah, thanks for tuning in this whole week, where we managed to upload a video every single day. And tomorrow, we're hopefully going to be uploading a video that's going to start a weekly series. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so that you don't miss any future Dragoborne related videos. But once again, thanks for watching.